Hey everybody, Nick here, and today I am live from the California. That's right. For those of you not keeping up on the affairs of the jackass, I have moved myself to California to follow my dreams and advance my career and whatnot. It's been a great move for me so far, although everything's kind of expensive here. California's a lot like Texas, actually, in that except everything is big in Texas, everything's expensive in California. But the thing is, it's nice here. I like it. There's a lot to enjoy, and so I figured I would go live, partly to see whether my internet connection can, handle it, and partly just because, why the heck not, right? So, anyways, let's go on ahead and go live. I also need to get the lighting right. Here we go. Let's see here. That dials it back a little bit. I'm actually using natural light. Weird, right? And so one of the big questions everybody asked is, well, Nick, when you moved, what did you carry on the trip? Well, that's a great question. Practically speaking, what I ended up doing on the trip itself was I used a knife roll. So just a little knife with all my pocket knives in there. And in that roll, I had my Spyderco Chaparral. I had my Millet Torrent here. I had my Spyderco Nirvana, which actually this guy turned out to be our kitchen knife. Because our stuff took 2 weeks to freaking get here. Hence the lack of lives lately. But I was able to pick this guy, or I was actually able to use this guy in the kitchen for a while because we didn't think to bring a freaking kitchen knife. Had the Sleesh Bowie, Spidey Chef. This one also got a lot of use and a lot of love here. The wifey actually ended up loving this guy as well well, what the heck was it for? Just kitchen, boxes, that kind of thing. So I had these guys with me, as well as the Grimsmo Norseman, as well as the Alamic Buska. Yeah. The saddest thing, actually, probably the worst part of this move so far, maybe accepting dealing with these movers who just suck. But probably the worst thing, the most heartbreaking thing, is that we drove from the Michigan, where I lived previously, all the way down through the country, through the Colorado. We actually spent the night at Golden, Colorado, USA Earth of Spyderco fame, except that we didn't actually get to stop at Spyderco. But anyways, there was a very nice Holiday Inn Express there. But anyways, then we spent a couple of days in Vegas because we were expecting, okay, why go to the new place when the stuff won't be delivered? So we spent a couple of nights in Vegas there. And one of those nights, while I was out and about, I figured, okay, I'd been carrying the chaparral all day. I thought, okay, we're going out for a fancy dinner. I'll bring a fancy knife. And so I threw my Alamic Busker in my pocket. And then got home later that night and realized the Alamic Busker was no longer in my pocket. Now, this is a knife I have carried a lot. I love the Busker. That is a great knife, and it's not one that I've ever had retention issues with. Never had it come flying out of my pocket, etc. And we were in an area where there was some crowd. And so I'm actually working under the assumption that it was probably lifted out of my pocket. It was front pocket there, but, it was clipped on there and did look good and fancy. So I'm assuming that somebody grabbed it out of my pocket in the crowd. Maybe it fell out of my pocket. I can't rule that out, but that seems to me to be the case. And in fact, when I posted on Instagram about this, a number of people mentioned that, yeah, they've had similar issues, at least in Vegas, and, pickpocketing's a thing. And so, unfortunately, I lost the Buska when I was out there. That was really, really rough, and made me very, very sad. That said, I have some of the greatest viewers ever, and actually, I posted about this on Instagram, and a bunch of people donated, and this completely without my prompting, but people actually donated enough money to me directly, to the jackass who freaking lost it, that I am able to buy a new Busker. And in fact, I've already placed my order for a new one with Eugene over at Alamic. And so, despite having my Busker stolen, I will have a Busker again soon, and I'm no worse for the freaking wear. And so, that's wonderful, and I want to thank very much my buddy Sid, and some other people who apparently donated straight to Alamic, which was really kind of them. Who made this possible, but it made that whole thing a lot less, the go to sleep thinking like, oh, damn it, one of my favorite knives, the best knife of 2017, gone, and then wake up, it's like, well, I can buy another one. That was really nice. And so I'm a very, very lucky man. In fact, I'm a very lucky man. I'm soliloquizing here. Sorry about that. I'm a very lucky man to be able to live here where I do. San Diego's freaking gorgeous so far. But these are the knives I had with me. I also had a small watch container. And in my watch container, I had the Breitling Aerospace, the Planet Ocean, the Aquaterra, and the Oceanus. Everything else just went with the movers. But I figured I would carry those for on. So yeah, those are the things that I was carrying during the course of my trip. My knives actually ended up getting a lot of use here. The other thing that's been getting a lot of use is this Ferrum Forge Pro line. Oh, thank you very much, Adam. It says Gerber sucks. Yeah, unfortunately they do now. They didn't always. That's one of the weird things. But this guy's been getting a lot of use on boxes and things like that. This was in my pocket today, along with the Three Rivers Neutron, which I apparently don't have handy at the moment. It's yeah. So it's in the other room. The wifey was using it, but still, see, I say wife now. I've learned that last little while here. But anyways, so yeah, that's what's going on in my life. Buska forever in our hearts, forever in mine too. That said, on the Buska front, a lot of people have been asking, are you going to replace it with the exact same thing? The answer is actually no, because while I was in Vegas, the day after the Buska incident, where its untimely disappearance, I actually went over to a small store called PVK Knives. They're right on the strip, I think in front of like Planet Hollywood, that area. But they are, and they actually had there in their possession a Lamic Buska with the raindrop effect, where they drilled out a bunch of holes, and I'd always thought that was really cool looking. And so that's actually what I've asked for here, but I've asked them to gussy it up a little bit because, hey, why not? And so that's what's going to be coming up. I'll leave the other details until the big reveal, but I'm really, really super excited about it. I love my other Buska, but it seemed tacky to just replace it with one that's almost exactly the same. I'd say, I'm swapping some things up a little bit. So yeah, that's a great question, Sakari. And this is an Ask the Nick, so feel free to ask questions. Sakari 1138 asks, "What kind of watch container did I use while traveling?" Great question, Sakari. And it is actually this little guy right here. I got this guy on the Amazon. I don't even know what brand it is. It's one of those. It's some Chinese brand sort of thing. It's like Human, whatever the heck. I mean, you see these things, but what it basically is it's a container that's got holes for 4 watches. So I had one on my wrist, and then swap the others out there. It doesn't work quite as well with bracelets, but you know what? It did the trick. It was beautiful, and it's well padded here. I could just throw this in my pack along with the expensive documents and things like that. Well, not really expensive, but the important ones like passports and stuff like that. So yeah. Anyways, that's what I had there. What watch I have on now? Right now, I'm got the Christopher Ward Trident 600. I'm trying this guy out at the moment. So there we go. What is the most? So Paul Gempel line asks, "What's the most unique functionality I've seen in a watch?" To me, maybe not most unique, because there are always high complication stuff is. It's high complication. There are a million of them, but one of the watches that I've seen that's coolest to me personally is actually one I got to handle in Vegas. One of the nice parts about Vegas is the watch shopping there is incredible. They have boutiques for every brand. They have multiple shops. Tourneau, they've got all kinds of places, but among the dealers that they had is a place called Lange, A. Lange in Zona. Is a German company, a very, very small brand of watchmakers, and they do incredible work. And I've never actually gotten to hold one of these guys in the flesh because they are, well, very expensive and not available at your average jeweler. And so what I got to do is try on one of my all-time grail watches. People often ask me, "Nick, what's your grail watch?" It's tough to say because there are a lot of great watches out there that I'd love to pick up. But one of them is assuredly the Lange & Söhne Zeitwerk, that is. And it is a digital analog watch. What I mean by that is it displays the watch, it displays the time as like 2, 4, 3, and then with the second hand down here. And every minute the numbers switch over. So you look down and it just says 2:43. If it's 2:43, but it's doing so using a mechanical movement. That's incredible. I love that so much because it's like it's hilarious to me. It's like it's a digital watch that's, but it's also 60 grand, so it's probably not going to happen. But I got to have one of those guys on my wrist, which was a really, really nice thing. And definitely, so that's probably one of the more unique, although, other people have done it before. Jump hours, jump minutes are not super uncommon. But, at the same time, that that was really fun and a lot of fun there. So yeah, what are we asking here? Harry CL93 asks, "What do you think about pimping out knives?" Harry, I think that anything a knife does should be under its own volition, and any proceeds coming from. Oh, you mean something different by that. Look, what he probably means is modification of knives, aftermarket changes. My general feeling on that is that usually if there's a knife or a watch or any other thing in your life that you don't love initially, like you take it out of the box and it's like, nah, this isn't for me. Usually you're not going to love it after you modify it either. I tend to look for perfection just in and of itself rather than, hold on, just tweaking the. We go. Get some air circulation in here. But anyways, if you're not loving it to start with, you're probably not going to love it at the end. But there are some exceptions, certainly. Color changes are a very easy thing, like anodization, things like that. Taking the bare titanium and turning it a prettier color, like, for instance, turning it blue, something like that. I think that's something it's very low harm, and it's something that if you really like blue, you can really enjoy a lot of. And so good anodization work, and not all anodization work is good, by the way. There are a lot of charlatans out there, but that can be great. The other thing that can be wonderful are a regrind. This is a Spyderco Peter Resenti Nirvana, but the thing is, this has been done, it's been reground by razor edge knives. And that took this from being a knife that is overly thick behind the edge, not super well built, to something that is an incredible slicer and a great kitchen knife for a week without kitchen knives. And so this is a pimped knife that I am head over heels in love with and is just not for sale. And so I think that pimping a knife can actually be a really nice thing. It can be done very, very well, but it just often isn't. And so, generally speaking, if you need to pimp it to love it, then you may not really love it, but it's not a bad thing either. Great question, though. Let's see here. Video quality is ever so slightly choppy. That's a real shame, Adam. What I'm hoping is that YouTube has been offering lately the ability to upload a high-quality version afterwards. That'll make this a little bit better, but I may need to pop my internet speeds up a little bit. Wyatt Cook asks, have you ever heard of the We Knives Practic? I have. As a matter of fact, I have one on the way. We Knives is a company that I've actually been kind of neglecting for a while, and I shouldn't be, because they're making really, really good work. And it's just been the case that I haven't had the time to look. Oh, thank you, Squeaker. I haven't had the time to look at it. I haven't had the time. I've been freaking busy like crazy, and that's not something that I'm loving. And so I've actually requested. I've been in touch with the U.S. representative to check out a couple of things. They know the story, good, great, bad, and the ugly, from them. And the Practic is one that I've ordered separately and individually just because that one wasn't available. So I've got a couple of wee knives that are on the way. The Rectifier, the Wisp, is one other there. But so keep an eye out for a couple of Wii reviews, because now they're not doing the star screws, they're doing great work. This is actually a knife produced by Wii, although it's made by Ferrum Forge. So yeah, that's something I'm very interested in. Let's see here. Loki Von Brandis asks, what knife does my wife EDC? She, in her current purse, has a ZTO 350. Is it 0350? Yeah, it's the 0350. I've got a review of it up. Or a Kershaw Link is her smaller, lighter weight sort of thing. She tends to like really big knives. She tends to like tactical kinds of approaches. She's a hell of a lady. But that's kind of her world. Although lately she's been using the I caught her using the Neutron the other day. She'd walked, stolen it out of my my knife drawer. So she's fallen in love with that one too. Squeaker Squeak asks, and thank you Squeaker very much. Asks, Nick, I'm a knife guy, but I'm more of a music guy, so I'm wondering what kind of music and artists I listen to. Wishing me the best. Thank you, Squeaker. The music-wise, I actually have a playlist on the YouTube, so if you go over to the playlist section of my channel, I don't actually know where it is on the device you're on, so I'm just going to point in every direction conceivable here. Either way, in one of those directions, there is playlists, and that's for my channel, and one of those is, I think, Nick's favorite music or something like that. And in that playlist, I have one song from a bunch of different recording artists that I just freaking love, whose work I recommend to the hills. And so I recommend you check that out. I have a bunch of really good stuff in there, probably a bunch of stuff that's not to your taste either. Obscure Russian pop, electronic stuff may not be for you, but by God, it's for me. So anyways, check all that out. That's a really good way to get a sense of my musical taste or lack thereof. So yeah, Steve Rasmussen, hey Steve, says she's still in the Mara Jade under the Emperor's control phase of knife collecting. My wife, for those of you who've read the Star Wars Extended Universe, my wife is absolutely Mara Jade. Everything but the hair color. Yep, that's a thing. I do not own a dog, or else I would review it. But Pete over at Cedric A to Gear and Outdoors did a review of his cat recently, which I really can't match. He's really, really excellent. Corey Marnigan says, "Did you move for audio stuff or knife stuff? Audio stuff, flat out. I am. I love knives. I love gear. I love watches. But I don't know that there's a career in it for me. Not because I don't think there could be, but." Well, actually, I don't think there could be. YouTube is great, but it's also fickle. I'm one, if YouTube closes my account, I'd be case closed. And frankly, I got the freaking PhD. I might as well use it, right? And so I'm more on the audio side of things over here, but I'm getting to do, and I want to continue to keep my work and my play separate. So I'm going to be a little bit non-specific about things, but I'm still getting to do the things I love, and I'm now getting paid a little bit better to do it and getting to share a little bit more of it. So that's really excellent for me. And so that's why I moved out here. Dangerous One says, "Do you review kitchen knives?" Actually, believe it or not, right here, over here, I have a kitchen knife on my table that I do need to review, and that's this little guy right here. This is from North Arm Knives. I have another one of these guys, a Santoku, in the kitchen. But my wife we moved into a much smaller place because it's California and everything's expensive here. But this is from North Arm Knives, the same folks who make the North Arm Skaha, which is right here. But anyways, this guy is a kitchen knife by them, and I freaking love it. It's S35V, and it's a really nice, and it's made in British Columbia, not BC, as in it's not that old. But nonetheless, it's a really nice piece, and I'm planning to do a review, although I suck at that because I'm not very good in the kitchen. So yeah, there you go. Let's see here. It's okay. I can take a bus and whatnot because I personally, although I can drive, we have a car and whatnot, I really don't love drive commutes because I feel like I'm wasting a lot of time. If all I'm doing is just like, okay, sitting in traffic, gas brake honk. I really would much prefer somebody else be doing that so I can be in the back, for instance, working or writing up a review or something like that. And so if I can sit on a bus while somebody else drives and do that, that's a great thing for me. Driving's fine. I enjoy it, and especially on nice roads. But I personally, I very much like public transit commuting, and frankly, I'm really looking forward to self-driving cars because I really hope that's I really hope that's a thing. California Shabazz T-shirt. That's a great idea. I should have one of those. Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, California traffic can indeed suck. I'm still getting used to Cali drivers. Let's see here. 3 asks, "Nick, when are you going to get your candid take on Hinderer?" Rick Hinderer Knives, actually has been surprising me lately, and actually it shouldn't surprise me, but they've recently come up with a tri-weight pivot system, where all of their knives will no longer just run on Teflon, but they'll run on Teflon or phosphor bronze or bearings. This is great because it gives people choices, and I think that's a really excellent thing that Hinderer can be doing. And I'm going to review the crap out of a 3-inch XM18 with the tri-way pivot as soon as I can get my hands on it. I've been hearing a lot of signs of growth from Hinderer, and some of the things they were doing early on that bugged me at a very personal level, they're not doing anymore. So you know what? I'm very happy about that, and I absolutely want to give that another look. So yeah, there you go. Let's see here. What else do we have here? Which would I recommend? The Alambic Swish or Arius? Oh, people are going to ask, "Nick, what happened to the Alambic Swish?" The Swish and the 8015, the Demco 8015, have actually been with Frankie and Bird. They're both relatively expensive knives, and I know Frankie and Bird wanted to check them out, so I sent them over to them, as I was doing the move, figuring they'll send them to me back afterwards. That's a thing. And Eco Stang says San Diego traffic's not bad. Try LA. Yeah, no, I know. LA. Oy, oy, oy. Inclusion asks, "Why does your audio suck in videos if that's your job?" LMAO. Wow, way to go straight for the freaking jugular there, buddy. That's a fair question. The reason the audio sucks in my video is that this is actually a cell phone right here, video camera. I do all my streaming, all my filming from a cell phone, and so as a result, that's what it is. I've considered on a couple of occasions moving to a higher end setup with an actual freaking DSLR and an actual freaking microphone, but honestly, that's just a lot of complication. And I'm sort of, I don't know, I want to do it, but at the same time, I'm always skeptical of something's going to add a lot of complexity to my life for relatively little improvement. So yeah, there you go. That was some relevant auto tuning. Yeah, unfortunately, the audio probably is not doing a great job here just because of the slower internet. I got to work on that. Let's see here. Favorite state of my move. The state of being done with my move is my favorite state of the move. No, favorite state. Colorado is always beautiful. I love the I-70 corridor going up through there. That's very nice. And Utah, oh God, like Capitol Reef area. Holy crap, Utah, you guys got it going on. Arizona was just a little bit of wasteland there in the middle there, but it's gorgeous wasteland, so I'll give you that. And then Nevada, I mean, Vegas is Vegas. It's its own thing. I gotta say, as a guy who doesn't really gamble, like I put a buck into a machine and lost every damn cent of it. But slot machine that is. It doesn't really gamble and doesn't really drink. Vegas isn't really and doesn't smoke either. Vegas isn't really my scene. You know, Vegas on a Saturday night is just like holy crap. Little bit. It was maybe a little nuts, but at the same time, it's a cool place. We went and we saw a Cirque du Soleil show, the car with the weird Foley stage going. I could do that with my table, have the table start rotating up in review. And yeah, no, I'm not going to do that because I'd stab myself. But, I personally, I don't know, I'm going to go with Utah. Drive through there, although there's a whole lot of nothing out there, and a big part of that nothing was on fire at the moment. Absolutely great. Jeff Duquette asks, who do I prefer, Birdshot IV or Dr. Frunky? What's my favorite YouTube channel? Oh, you're asking me to pick among friends there. I can't do that. Both Birdshot IV, Frankie and Bird are great. I believe that firmly about them as humans as well as YouTubers, and I think they fill a great niche in the YouTube community, and that they do reviews. They know knives. They're really excellent, but they're also just a lot more fun. They're like the Today Show of YouTubers for in the gear world, and I think that's great. I watch their videos, and it's just like, okay, I'm gonna settle in. There's gonna be some great innuendo here, and it's just it. So I love their work a lot. Dr. Frunky is sort of I like his work a lot, and I'm liking it. He does the higher end custom stuff that aren't really my things. So yeah, that's a thing. And so I like Doc a lot as well. Other folks, Advanced Knife Bro is great. There are a bunch of good channels out there. And in the watch world, I mean, I have a list of my favorite EDC gear related channels, another playlist. So keep that off. Or keep that off. Keep that off. No, check that out. Yeah, those are verbs. And they there was a that in the middle there. Well, actually, the verb and a preposition and such. Anyways, beside the point. Heimdall asks, hey, Heimdall, thank you. Any plans to make reviews on stereo and hi-fi? Do I like Klipsch? That's funny. Actually, I don't. I may do some stereo and hi-fi stuff, but the thing is, I actually, as a part of this move, I'm selling my hi-fi system. The reason for that is that, well, A, I don't do that much high end listening. I had a nice setup there with a Cambridge 840A amp, some DAC Magic from them as well, some B&W 804S speakers. There was a really nice setup, but it's huge. The speakers themselves are almost as big as my damned entertainment center. They're large. And then it's big, it's expensive, it's heavy. Every damn part of it is just, and so and frankly, the curve of diminishing returns is brutal. Because you can get with just a nice soundbar like the Sonos Play Bass. I'm going to do a review of here soon because oh my god, is that thing good? But you can get 90% of the signal for 10% of the price in a lot less space. And so I'm kind of falling out of love with hi-fi. I still have a great headphone listening rig if I want to do some high-end listening, but I haven't been doing much of it. So I'm just trying my best to sort of simplify my life, partly because we're moving into a much smaller place here, and partly because, well, yeah, there's a lot of craziness there. So there you go. Since you moved, what was my exact address? Nice try there. But previously, I was over near the Ann Arbor of the Michigan. So there you go. What are we asking here? I go in the ocean every day. Yeah, the ocean is a really nice place. We just barely dropped in there. Sacramento, Alfalfa Alpaca is asking me, nice name. What do you think about Sacramento? I have driven through Sacramento exactly once. It was on a really, really hellish trip for me, so I don't have super fond memories of it. I remember the roads were really crappy on the outskirts of town, but aside from that, seemed like a fine place. So there you go. Ben Jade's asking me, Benchmade Mini Presidio 2 thoughts. I don't have strong opinions there. I'm sorry, I've not handled one of those guys. Preston Elkins asks, can I do a review of the Pacific Ocean? I would love to. Yes, I'm just going to need to carry it a little bit more often. So yeah, there you go. Let's see here. Favorite color? Well, if you're talking about knives, probably blue. Considering that I've got, blue, I've got blue, I've got blue in this pen here. My blue, absolutely blue. Where else do I have blue? Coming, Busker's got some blue everywhere, blue. So probably blue. Although I'm a fan of a deep purple as well. Those kinds of things. There's some good stuff. But probably both in my everyday life and in my everyday knives, blue is my winner there. And also blue, Planet Ocean, etc. Let's see here. Hey, Josh. Fibercastel Loom review still coming? Yep, absolutely in there. Kyle Bielafield says, that's it. I'm sending you a purple ladybug. I have a purple ladybug. Compete really well. Honestly, oh, thank you, Landon. Much appreciated. This one for me is the Spyderco Shaman. Now that this knife exists, I do not have any real sense of need for a PM2. I haven't felt like since this guy came into my life, it's just like, well, I'm selling the PM2, because it's just so damn good. It's a really excellent piece, and it's sort of all in the PM2. It's maybe a little burly, but it's great. It's durable. It's ergonomic. It feels better in my hand than the PM2. I cut myself on some glass from a picture frame earlier, but just kind of a graze. But nevertheless, the Shaman is a really nice PM2 alternative. Other PM2 alternatives, let's see here. They're coming at $140. What else is good around there? You can consider the Spyderco Chaper. This is a very, very different knife. This is a very thin, small, everyday carry, but it is a really, really nice choice. Absolutely 100%. What else is a good PM2 killer? Hold on, let me think about that. Oh, the TRM Neutron. Where the heck are you? Come on, Neutron. You got to be around here somewhere. The Neutron from Three Rivers is actually another really nice choice, I think. Again, it's a smaller knife, and so it's maybe a weird comparison here. Where the heck? Come on. Where's my Viator at? Guys, this is freaking killing me over here. All of my stuff is in disarray because the movers really, really suck. And apparently a key part about moving a thing full of knives is to take it and flip it over 18 times just so everything gets screwed up. Boy. But anyways, let me invite it. That's another really great option. I'll sort that out later. But there are a lot of really good PM2 alternatives out there, so check that out. Should do a blog from Tijuana. Yeah, I'd love to get that to Tijuana one of these days. It's a great idea. Just haven't made it there yet. So yeah. Terrible knife series. Oh, absolutely. I got plenty of terrible knives coming in my future. Rest yourself assured, terrible knives will not be problematic. Let's see here. Knives before wives, says Sharp Edge. No, not generally speaking. Because I got to be honest with you, a knife is sort of a tool that does one or two things really, really well. It will cut things. That's pretty much the main thing a knife will do. It can also be used for other tasks, but knives just cut things. Whereas a wife is good for much, much more. Not only is a wife not an object, but a person with independent thoughts and feelings and such. It should be respected and treated with the equality women deserve. But at the same time, damn it, a good wife will bring you, or husband for that matter, will bring you more happiness than any knife ever could. So keep that in mind. So there you go. Z Hunter for Vegas Carry. The thing is, I considered that as just like, but I only had with me, by the way, I forgot to mention that also in my role with those other high-end expensive knives was the original Z Hunter here. I didn't want him to get injured or lost if the movers destroyed things. So yeah, that's shameful. So yeah, anyways, Super Steel Steve says knives don't have boobies. Speaking of boobies, I actually don't know whether blue-footed boobies or brown boobies, for that matter, were found on the California coastline, although they are a really excellent aquatic bird. So, oh, here it is. Here's the viator. Freaking finally. Yeah, so the neutron is like this guy, but a slip joint. So, or not a slip joint, that is. So, there you go. Another good choice. The viator's nice if you like slippies. Okay. Wow, this drawer got all kinds of jacked up. Somehow my Delica jumped back like 18 rows. Let's see here. PW, ever thought about promoting my subreddit? Not really, PW, because honestly, so there is reddit.com/ and thank you, PW, for the donation. Slash Nick Shabazz is a thing, but the thing is, I'm not on Reddit as much as, well, no, that's not true. I'm on Reddit pretty much every day because I moderate Knife Club, but I have so many social media streams as it is that it's really hard for me to keep them straight as it is, and so opening another one up and promoting another one is just more time that I don't really have. So it's a great question, but probably not. Yeah. Steve Rasmussen asked, am I going to go visit Willamette maybe when my new busker is made? I would love to. Willamette is actually 5 or 6 hours away from me. They're further up in the Visalia, San Jose area. I want to make it to the Bay Area. As soon as I save up enough money to spend the night in the Bay Area, I'm going to go to the Bay Area. I kid, but not really. But I'd love to go up and check out Willamette and such, but it's probably not in the cards here immediately. Let's see here. 3S, I have an engineering brain. Why no knife designs yet? Tried. The reason is that I have an engineering brain. I'm not an artist, and at some level, that's what I lack. You know, I can sit there and sketch out a knife, but it's a purely functional thing, and it's not necessarily, it lacks the cohesiveness that a really good, okay, Sal Glesser is a really good example of a great knife designer, or who else is a great knife designer? That's Sinkovich, Dmitry Sienkiewicz. Incredible freaking designer. These guys are able to make these knives that are not only great functional tools, but are also actually quite attractive and have a synthesis of many, many things. It would be the absolute height of conceit to believe that just because I can complain about knives, I can also design them. Maybe if I spent many years retraining myself with, as a machinist and learning the trades that I would need to be able to start making knives, I just don't have the ability to do that. That's not my field. That's not my world. And so at this stage in my life, I couldn't even make a Z Hunter. I mean, there is more artistic credit here than I have for anything. So, frankly, I will stick to what I am good at, which apparently is complaining and acoustics, and then allow other people to do the things that they're good at, such as, knife making. Things like that. So yeah, what do I think the next trend will be after titanium frame lock flip has become passe? Kyle Bielafield, right now there is a burning trend. Great question, by the way. There is a burning trend of slip joints. And modern slip joints. So you get things like the Three Rivers Viator, the Hinderer XM Slippy, the Lion Steel is doing a couple. Chris Reeve just jumped on the bandwagon right as it was leaving the station. Who the hell else has been doing these? There are a lot of slippies out there, and I'm not talking like good old-fashioned traditionally stuff, like this little guy right here, which, by the way, I did pick up. This little guy is a Great Eastern Cutlery. I don't even remember the name of the pattern at the moment because I've got moving brain on my head here. But it's a Northfield unexcelled guy. Really, really nice piece. But anyways, modern traditionals are becoming a thing, too. So I think slippies right now is a big trend, as it hits the UK, etc. But honestly, the trend that I'm hoping for next is a move away from tactical and towards practical, towards making knives that are good for most people in their everyday life. Smaller pieces or larger pieces that are designed to be functional more than they are murdery. I hope that that's where they're going next, and I see that coming because against that tactical violence-minded sort of thing going on in the U.S. And so I can see some knife companies, ZT is always going to be freaking tactical. That's all they do. Their name is Zero Tolerance. But I'm really, really hoping that there will be a push. Sorry, I got freaking kids screaming all across the way there. It's going to be a louder place to film for sure. But anyways, there is a, not my kids, thank God. Those don't exist and never will. But anyways, what was I saying? But I'd like to see some makers, in particular, like I think Benchmade and Spyderco is already going there, I think, moving away from tactical and moving towards things that are designed to pull up all kinds of I don't know. They're designed to grab people who might not be interested in the Killatron 5000 Death on Contact douchebag mall ninja sort of stuff. And so I really hope that that's going to be the next big trend in knife making, although I don't think it is. So yeah, and the Chris Reeve Slippy being 3 inches, I'm going to get one of those for review because I basically have to. But yeah, that's a thing. Usa Design asks, sorry, will I review a Rayot K2? Maybe, maybe not. Rayot does great work. They also do grinds that are really thick behind the edge. They're probably, at this point, they do good work, but they're not a Chinese maker that is just like, oh my God, yes, everything from these people. No, they make some really great knives, but they also make some really bad designs really well, if that makes sense. So I haven't gotten a chance to handle a K2. Maybe it's great. Maybe it isn't. I don't know, but I'll figure it out. Let's see here. Joanne says, I require black clips, don't like a flashy clip that says I have a knife, then you would love ProTech. This is a ProTech Sprint. And actually, this coming week, I'm going to do a series of videos on California legal automatics. Now that I'm here, it seemed like a good way to celebrate. But this has the advantage of the clip on this guy. Here, let me grab a cloth here, and we will pop this onto a cloth. And with my Chris Reeve Knives little clip here. But you can see here that this, with a little black clip here and just barely hanging in the pocket, it's really hard to tell what this is at a glance. So yeah, that's definitely a, I like their clips very much. A good deep carry clip, one that's subtle, can be very nice. So there you go. How about a double-edged razor review, Rick? I've got a couple of double-edged razor reviews up already, so keep that in mind. Haven't seen any fixed blade reviews. Burley D asks, why no fixed blade reviews? Is there another reason? Honestly, Burley, they don't really sound that appealing to me. I've got a video on small everyday carry fixed blades. In California, the concealed fixed blades are a problem, legally speaking, but I don't care because I don't like them anyways. So yeah, that's kind of, and I've got a whole video on that, so check that one out there. Let's see here. What else are we on about? What do I think about the Van X testing on Cedric Ada's channel? So I'm going to shout Pete over at Cedric Ada Gear and Outdoors. People ask me about Dr. Funky and Birdshot. Pete over at Cedric and Ada Gear and Outdoors is one of my very, very favorite YouTubers. He is, it's funny because I am a freaking scientist. That is what I do for a living. But Pete is a scientist on YouTube. He does all of this incredible steel testing work. He is a gem and a joy to humanity. And if he stopped YouTubing tomorrow, the world would be a much worse place for it. And so I like Pete a lot. There's a bromance there. I'll admit that freely. But at the same time, you know, the Van Axe testing is really exciting. If those numbers hold up in the long term, that's an incredible freaking steal. So yeah, Casey White says, am I really a scientist, Nick? I am really a scientist, Casey White. As a matter of fact, the Acoustical Society of America card-carrying member. There you go. Let's see here. If I looked into the Wii 808, I don't even remember what the 808 is. Sorry about that, guys. Wii is hard. It's the 8675309. BP69, will you review another sharpener? Yes. As a matter of fact, I do have another sharpener here. Actually, a couple of sharpeners here to review. I have this guy, which is the Spyderco Golden Stone, which I do still need to review because it is actually a really nice system. A little pricey for what it is, but it is a sharpening system where you can just kind of move it back and forth and then just etc. That's the sound it makes, but not really. And then I also have a TS Prof Russian sharpening system, which is in a big old freaking ammo crate that I had delivered to me on a day that I just had a backpack with me. So I've got this big ass ammo crate sitting on my freaking. I'm coming down on the bus ride home with this. Hold on. Just a second here. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So imagine a jackass, if you will, goes to the post office on his way home after work and figures, okay, I'm just going to pick up, you know, it said you've got something there. And this took them like 6 months or so to ship. So I go show up at the post office and they hand me over the counter this thing. This entire freaking thing. Hold on just a second here, guys. Look at this. I have this entire gigantic freaking painted ammo box thing with Profil on the top here and then Technologia. This is a gigantic freaking box that looks for all intents and purposes like there is a nuclear warhead in there. And so here I am walking out of the post office with that. immediately. Um, and the guys at the post office are looking at me like, Nick, what the hell are you ordering? Like, you buying uranium now? What are you doing here? And so I'm like, no, it's not uranium. It's not a warhead. We're good. And then here I am leaving the post office with this. And then I get on the bus and I'm sitting here on the bus with this big old freaking crate of ammo in my freaking lap, even though it's a freaking TS Prof shopping system. And everyone's just like giving me these looks like, oh my God, are we gonna die? And I'm like, no, it's a knife sharpening system. And so TS Prof has trolled me expertly in their creation of this whole thing. That was absolutely spectacular. And so that is definitely on my table. I will be opening up that big old freaking ammo crate worth of shopping system, and yeah, that's a serious thing. So yeah, keep an eye out for that one in the future here. Let's see. No one died. It was fine. There were no problems, but still, yeah, it's a thing. Would I use that over the KME? I have not even, like, I got that immediately before leaving. Like, literally 2 days before we were scheduled to move, I got that big freaking ammo crate thing. So I just drop it into a box and shipped it out here. Well, not shipped, but, moved it out here. So I literally have not had a chance to set it up. And so soon, but not yet. Justin's asked favorite watch specific channel. It's tough. Hodinky is awful but helpful sometimes. Federico Talks Watches is pretty good, actually. I like a lot of his stuff, although it's kind of clickbaity lately. There's a lot of good watch channels out there. So anyways, Watchfinder and Co. does really good historical kinds of stuff out there. So, yeah, Stephen Ray Beltran, any newer Elijah Isham knives in the future? Yes, as soon as they're available. Like, he's got 3 or 4 things that it's just like, yep, I'll take it. Yeah, Snuggly's good too. Epic Snuggle Bunny, etc. Sam Alpert says, show a knife. Okay, what's a knife to show? Ontario Rat number 1. Oh, by the way, size comparison on that Ferrum Forge. Rat number 1, Ferrum Forge. And Spyderco Delica. So anyways, guys, I think I'm actually going to go ahead and bail. Just because, yeah, it's been a little while and it's been 41 minutes. So I hope this has been interesting and that you have yourselves just an absolutely wonderful rest of the day. And see everybody. Bye now.